prototyping, and user-driven design can accelerate the development and deployment of indigenous defense space capabilities for future operational needs. And to open the discussion and the session, I would like to invite our esteemed chair, Lieutenant General Dushyant Singh, Director General Clause. Can we have you here, sir, and can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you so much, sir, for opening up the chair. Now we would also like to call our esteemed speakers for this session. Major General C.S. Maan, Army Design Bureau, ADB. Can we have you here, sir? Thank you so much. Then we have Rear Admiral T. Ajit, ADG QAN into Navy. Sir, we welcome you. Can we have another huge round of applause for him as well? Last but not the least, we have got Colonel Lieutenant Sanjay Mahala, Program Director PMO XDLINX. Sir, we also welcome you. Can we have another round of applause for everyone? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. At the outset, let me confess that we are standing between your lunch. So we will make this session very short. And may I also request all those who are standing behind to kindly take their seats so that we can proceed ahead with this particular session. Well, this session is all about design, development, and innovation in space. Very rarely did we speak about these things as far as space was concerned. Mostly we spoke about space whenever there was a defense gathering, that it is the future environment which we have to secure. But I think the time for that has gone by. And if you want to look for any proof of this, you have to just look at Operation Sindoor. 400 scientists worked day in and day out, 24/7 to ensure that we had 24/7 satellite coverage as far as India was concerned. But that, let me say, is not the entire picture. We have to open our hearts and see through it with a much more finer details as to what all were the shortcomings. There was this issue about satellite imagery, which took a lot of time because of our cartosats, which are aging. Then we were dependent on foreign satellites, foreign agencies, which were delaying the availability of these images, because of which in certain occasions we also suffered the information war battle as well, because we had to give proofs to ensure that whatever we hit, it hit the target. So without going any further, let me just emphasize on 2-3 more points. The first point is that the government has recognized this thing, and therefore they have actually, out of the defense budget, earmarked 2.9 lakh crore as part of the new generation technologies for space. And that's a great thing. The DRDO budget has been increased. There is a 1,000 crore venture capital which has been earmarked for new generation technologies, which includes space, and 500 crore technology growth fund has also been earmarked. So military, so the government is putting its muscle behind the space and the related technologies. But what is required today is the design, development, and innovation in space. I am happy to share that almost 300, not 250, which was told in the inaugural session, there are about 300 startups and which are actually working in the space domain. Even while we were sitting here, a number of people were presenting to me as to what they are trying to do as far as space is concerned, whether they were dual-use technologies or not. So without any further ado, let me introduce my panel to you all. They are experts in their domain, and those who are not going to ask questions to them, I think they're going to miss a great opportunity. To my left is Major General Maan. He's the ADG ADG Army Design Bureau. He looks after all the new design development issues which are related to the entire Indian Army. He's the boss of that. So if he doesn't know anything, then nobody knows anything. So that's the bottom line. As far as to my left is concerned, Mahala, he was in the army. He was actually steering the other side, and now he has come onto the industry side. So He will give you both the sides perspective, and to my extreme right is Admiral Ajit, who's now in Quality Assurance Navy, but he has also been earlier with the VC. So therefore, you will have a very, very informed panel. I will straight away go to Maan, and Maan, can you just give your opening remarks as to what are the challenges which you are facing as the ADG Design Bureau as far as Army problems in the space domain are concerned? So over to you, Maan.
Thank you very much, sir. At the outset, I must thank the organizers for giving this opportunity. But I must also confess that space is not my core domain. Okay. But yes, so far as since it is design, development, and innovation, and that's where my role comes in, because I'm the interface and the one who is actually engaging with the industry, and especially the startups. And startups are the one, I think, who are at the intersection of the troika. That troika is of the user, the academia, and the industry. And I think that's where the startups have got a really very major role to play. And what we have seen is that two, three things, I mean, I would like to say, so far as the startups are concerned, and if we see that today, startups and innovation has become almost synonymous. The moment we talk of innovation, we look at startups. And it is not, say, the big industry houses where we're looking at innovations. So that is a very, very good thing, and I think it's a talent available, a pool available, which we need to exploit optimally, and actually, utilize them gainfully, so that we are able to get the niche technologies developed. Now, that is one. And the second thing is that the speed over scale. That is where the startups are actually delivering that speed, because of I think maybe the smaller organizations, they are able to actually, able to prototype, iterate, and also, say, deploy the niche solutions in a much faster time frame. Whereas that's not what the larger industry is able to actually give it in that kind of time frame. And they are into all kind of domains, as what we have seen, whether it be in satellites, in launch services, or in terms of, say, the data analytics and space-based sensing. So that is where I said that the agility of startups is actually a strategic asset as of today, or an advantage, which we really need to exploit it. Now, sir, and for that purpose, also what we do is that it's very important for the startups to know as to what is it that we want as a user. So that's where we try to create visibility of our requirements by virtue of launching different documents. For example, the compendium of problem definition statements. Then we have a compendium of technological challenges. A tri-service, both these documents are specific to the Army, which I mentioned. A tri-service document is the TPCR, that's the Technology Perspective Capability Roadmap. So from that, you can get a fair idea of what are the kind of requirements we have. In fact, just to tell you that so far as compendium of technological challenges is concerned, there are 2 challenges in that, for which we have received only 2 responses each so far. So we are looking at more number of responses from the industry, and it's open till 31st of July. So you can access that document, just Google Army Design Bureau, and you will be able to actually access to it and get to know what are those challenges which we are looking at. Apart from that, any kind of help required, even as part of the development process, any kind of access to the equipment, understanding our kind of requirements, we are open to it anytime. We do engage, we do guide the startups and all like that. And in case you have any product available, so that again, NCNC demos, we are open to it. You can offer to us at any time. And also we do conduct forward area tours so that the industry can actually go on ground and see as to what is it, the kind of problem, they can get a better understanding of it, so that you develop the solutions then accordingly after having interacted with actually the troops on ground over there. So that's how we are trying to support the ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you, Man. I have got a question for you. We will do it in the second round. And that is, while we are telling the problems to the startups through your website, etc., but the startups themselves are facing a lot of challenges, especially in, approach, especially in various other things like testing and other facilities which are not available to them. So how their problems can be overcome, and I think we'll come in the second round and ask you that question. I now move to Mahala. Mahala, you are a person with a unique experience of having been in the army and having actually driven this IDEX and other initiatives. And now you're on the industry side looking at nano satellites and micro satellites, etc. So give a bird's eye view of your particular firm XDLINX, as also what do you think is missing? Because I find that the like he said, there are only two responses for a particular problem which has been put up, and the dates are about 31st July. So where are we missing the the link? Are we going wrong in our ways of handling the design and development and innovation process? So over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Colonel Sanjay, and I have served out of 20 years in Army, 5 years, more than 5 years I have served with Defense Satellite Control Center on the mission land. And after I quit, I joined IDEX. I was heading the space challenges, Mission Dev Space, which was launched in October 2022. And now I've joined a firm known as XDLINX, which has a heritage of 3 satellites and has an order book of at least 17 other satellites. Few of them are very strategic nature. With this as introduction, I'll just say 2 phrases. First is necessity is the mother of invention. We should have necessity for these things as it was reflected in Op Sindhur. And the second is R&D has to be funded by the government or backed by the government. Just startups enthusiasm will not do the R&D. It has to be backed by the government. And if you ask me the most important problem with the startups, other than the supply chain and the technical manpower, I think the investment part, the funding part is the most important challenging part for the startups. Without this investment, startups can't do R&D. That's the most important. You want me to elaborate further? We need for investment, we need return of investment, return of investment. For return of investment, we need orders and sustenance of these orders continuously. So that is what is the problem, sir.
Okay, so since this question actually relates both to Maan as well as Colonel Mahala, so in the second round I'll ask you about the IDEX proper as to why it is, I don't want to use that word, but why is it not meeting the requirement? It is meeting the requirement, but it is not going to the level of production. The scaling is missing. People are winning challenges, but thereafter they are not getting the orders. That's a very real-time problem. And now, how can we overcome that problem? Can everything be done by the government? Government has funded as much as possible, but if you look abroad, I think most of the places is the private sector which is actually chipping in as far as R&D is concerned. Startups definitely can't do it. So over to you, Admiral Ajit. You're looking at quality assurance. An earlier appointment, or you were with the VC, but what I want to know is that, and this is a little technical question, not technical, I would say challenging question. We are talking of integration nowadays, academia, think tanks, startups, and the industry. How about integrating the quality assurance right from the design and development stage? Just throw some light on that also and give an overview of whatever you want to say as far as this particular design, development, and innovation is concerned. So over to you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, first as a developer. Suppose I am a developer and I have made a system. Do I want an inspector to come and inspect my system? Frankly, no. I will feel, arey, ye to mera delay kar dega pura. But suppose I am the owner of the firm. I am not the developer, I am the owner of the firm. The owner of the firm will say, I want this QA independent, aake pura inspect karo. Because he is safe after that. If there is a defect which comes up, he'll say, Naval Quality Assurance came and cleared it. Because the government is today, now I'm in the MOD from a secondary DP point of view, the green channel, self-certification, all are there. But that puts the onus on the entity, the firm, because the failure, he pays a big price for it. He has to go for it. So frankly, if you're the owner of the firm, you want somebody outside to come and inspect it. Internal QA sab theek hai, but external QA. So there is a price to be paid with an external QA if we go by the traditional method. Coming to innovation in space. Space is a very cruel media. You got a lot of the conditions which are there, thermal, vibration, the radiation levels, all things are there, have to be catered for. Currently, we have been using ISRO's quality assurance to meet the requirement. Tomorrow, when the services places an order directly, say the Army places, they'll say DGQA inspection, the Navy will say DQA Navy to be the inspection agency. So we come into the play. So what do we do when we come into the play? We ask, chalo quality assurance plan bana hua hai, QAP. Can we make a QAP? Now I link to what we have done in the Navy. We found that making a QAP for a startup it's difficult. I mean, he finds it challenging. Yes, there are enough guidelines. We came up with a concept of using AI tools. We have come up with Bharat Electronics, we have worked, and we are on the cloud right now. It can generate a QAP. If you put in your purchase order, you put in the technical documentation, a draft QAP is generated with the solution. We are in the process of testing it out. At least a QAP to haath mein mil gaya aapke. The QAP, you can submit it to the quality assurance organization. He will also take it. Because it has been standardized and the model can be trained, you'll get a decently mature QAP which can be cleared fast. Clearing a QAP on time saves a lot of time for the innovator and the startup. We are dealing with a lot of IDEX people are there. Otherwise, half the time will go on making the QAP. Tab tak aapka DD extension time aa jayega. And DD extension, then you'll be asking for LD, all that. Second thing is drawings which are generated. A drawing vetting today takes a lot of time, 100, 200 days sometime, because each agency has to inspect a drawing. With Bell Bangalore, we worked out to generate a solution of an AI. You input a drawing into it, you put whatever standards, it will check and tell you, tick, as a QAD R093 is a document, it ticks and tells you, green ticks, these are the two red. So at least when the startup or the industry partner submits a drawing in drawings, in Navy case, we don't vet the drawings, it goes to Naval Headquarters. The drawing is at least vetted as per some standards. And we can. So these two solutions we have provided to the industry so that this process can be speeded up. Third thing comes up is a digital trail should be there. Today when an inspector goes, it's all manual process. You raise an iCall, wo jayega, inspect karega, then a manual document. Vikas was one solution which we did with Bharat Electronics some 2 years back. It was a QA 4.0 solution which was implemented in all the Bell units. We are taking this and renaming it as Ashwas. We are in the process of discussing it internally within DGQA, so that when you get a purchase order, you upload it onto the system, and then onwards, everything happens digitally. Everybody comes to know kisne delay kiya, industry ne, otherwise everybody will say, "Arey, QA ne to kuch kiya hi nahi hai." So today there's no QA. If the industry has submitted it, everything will be till the time the I-note is issued. And we would love, in the end, the I-note can go to even CDA for payment, like RC, LC credit is that sort of stuff. So Vikas, Ashwas, and the digital system. That means a digital trail is something which will be useful for the space innovation. Suppose you're a space innovator and you're coming into this field today. You're a startup. So the first thing which comes inside here is component credit. You need raw material inspection. We do raw material inspection. Over the years, we have said that raw material can be inspected for us using just the documents which you submit, if you're a thing. In space, and especially in aerospace, what they insist is the raw material has to be completely inspected down to the ignite which is there, the seal numbering. They do it from the aerospace side. Here also you'll have to do that part of it. So a digital trail of the raw material can be done up, which can be incorporated here. Secondly, when you use commercial components, you have to upscreen them. A lot of the vendors I've interacted, it says that, sir, we would like to use COTS components. So upscreening the component, what standards to follow. There are enough international standards to follow. Use commercial components there. What we do in a quality insurance, if you use COTS for the naval system, we just say inspection, these are COTS, so I don't inspect it after that. If you're imported, it's even better. You say certificate of conformity, but yeah. But if you make it, then we go for type testing, all that. So here, these same things have to be done. In case of naval and army system, there are NABL accredited labs which you can go to. Then we don't inspect. The NABL accredited lab certificate is taken at face value. Equivalent of that, we have to create an ecosystem for the space also. Will these NABL labs, they can do it. What are they doing? They're doing shock, vibration tests as per what JSS Penta 5 mil standard. So accordingly, they can follow the European Union standards or the ISRO standards and get these equipment inducted. So this system exists. So digital trail is important, using of digital twins. Digital twins are more for this. We can have a complete ecosystem to induct the system faster.
Okay, so I'll ask you a question, not
Yes.
from your initial comments, but I would like to know, as far as from you, the SBS-3 program has been announced. In the morning, it was said that the dates are likely to be completed by 2030, but the Cabinet Committee on Security has actually preponed those dates, and it's now 2028 is the timeline which has been given to complete the launch of all SBS-3 programs. But what all technologies do you feel from a military perspective, because it is entirely devoted for the defense, should be there as part of this SBS-3 program? So that you can, after I ask Maan, then that will be a question for you. And after that, I'll open the house for questions from the audience, and then we'll call it a day. So Maan, question to you, as I said initially in the beginning, is that the startups are facing a real problem. Can you tell me what all can the army or the armed forces do to ensure that these startups are able to produce something, big? I know one or two success stories are there, but by and large, they are actually struggling.
So yes, challenges, I'll say challenges are not only for startups, it's for us also. Because this being a new domain. So the first and the most important thing is the correct articulation of the problem statement as such. So that at times even, say with being a new domain, so may not be really very well articulated, and then the understanding of that by the startup who wants to do it is another challenge, that whether he's actually understood what we want it or not. So for that purpose, I think these kind of the forums and the interactions which we have otherwise individually with each one of them are very, very important, so that we are able to explain our requirements, able to understand exactly, and then develop something accordingly which is required by us. And for that purpose, I'll say that I'll request that the startups, even if it is not, say, against any challenge or anything, which you're developing yourself, what you perceive as a use case for us, it's better to engage with us as early as possible, right from the inception stage onwards, so that then you are able to deliver what actually we want in that manner. It shouldn't happen that, say, we have come across some cases wherein people go ahead in some manner, they reach a particular stage of development, and then we realize, no, it is not this, we wanted something like this. So then again, getting back into the cycle, starting from scratch, becomes difficult. So that is one major thing of understanding and explaining the requirement as such. And so now actually recently what we have done is that within the army we have actually given a boost to this entire aspect of space domain. So we have evolved an entire concept paper on this, and we have identified lines of efforts. And for each line of effort, we have dedicated a separate directorate for that now. So there are about 7 odd lines of effort identified. For example, say one for ISR, one for PNT, one for communication, one for space domain awareness, and like that. So as a result, then they are the ones who are going to, that directorate is the one who is going to focus on that particular domain. And it will become easier for us also that the industry, whatever the startups and all come up, they engage with then that particular directorate, and so that's how subject domain expertise will automatically keep getting built up, and there's a focused approach in terms of even launching the challenges further in terms of defining our requirements also, and also obviously explaining the requirements also. Another major thing is that what Singh, if I link it also to the other part which you said, that while there are projects and all, but then they're not getting into the procurement part, and that way. Like say, as of today, when we have through IDEX, when those 75 challenges were launched, in that there are 9 challenges of ours. And in one case, even the ground control station has also, the equipment has also been established in Bangalore. And it is already coming up for SSCT. It is just going through the QA part of it now at present. Then coming up for single stage composite trial. 2 more, where the prototype development has got completed. And in others, it is at about milestone 3. So there is progress being made. But then yes, being a new domain, that's how it's taken time. Like for example, one of the hurdles we came across was the bandwidth. The bandwidth for those projects. So we had to actually struggle within the army and within the other organizations, that how do we give them the bandwidth which is required for even testing of that equipment. So there are those kind of practical issues. Testing, of course, because for any defense procurement, it has to go through the testing, what just now Admiral Ajit also mentioned. But then what happens is that startups are really not aware of what kind of testing, what are those testing standards and all. So they develop something and then they realize, oh, I have to now go through this standard also and get through that testing also. Which agency to be approached exactly, from where to get it done, and then comes the bottleneck of the testing facilities available as such. Though ISRO is helping a lot, but then still I think there is a bottleneck over there, wherein more amount of those testing facilities are required.
Since there is a shortage of time and people before us took more than what they had been allotted, I'm going to only ask some critical questions, and the one to Mahala is that a quick answer, not too long. There is a gap between having produced the prototype and operational deployment. What are those challenges and why it is happening? Some he has highlighted as far as Maan is concerned, but you are on the both sides, so let me see exactly what challenges you are facing in terms of, let's say, even the nano satellites and micro satellites. Some people say that these are the solutions of the future as far as military is concerned. Why do we have to go into the MEO or the geo satellites? Our requirements are going to be met with these LEO satellites and microlights, etc. Micro satellites and the nano satellites will serve our purpose. So over to you.
Yeah. First thing, sir, since we talked about SBS launching 52 satellites out of the 31 are from private industry, it's little less in quantity and little too late. They should have been at least maybe a decade and a half back. Now, if we are looking at space-based surveillance, we should have a persistent 24/7 surveillance. Whenever you want to look, you find a image for that, and that is only possible if we have a layered ISR approach. The first layer, which should be as in 1 to 2 meter of resolution, which due to miniaturization can be launched on a 16U satellite or even lesser. The second one should be what we are doing in SBS, 10 centimeter to 70 centimeter, wherever better. We should have a second layer where we have a revisit of 2 to 3 hours. And the third layer is ELINT, where when we combine ELINT with ISR to get adversaries characterization and right positioning. So as far as SBS3 is concerned, we should be looking at next is that. And the question you had asked for is
the gap between
the gap, yeah. The mission dev space, when it was launched, the grant was 1.5 CR and 10 CR. Space projects are cost intensive. They are a system with multiple technologies. So we made a system of 75 challenges with some of them in IDEX, some of them in MAKE, challenge distributed with as a component and composite challenge based on the technology part. Now we have crossed 4 years. As Mansar was saying, we have a lot of development, but it takes time to integrate those and to achieve what we are supposed to achieve as a consolidated main challenge. So now it's a high time that we should be looking at Mission Dev Space 2.0 because of intervention in policies of DAP 26, which is likely to come.
Yeah, so quick comment by you on the aspect about what is the role which the private big players can play in ensuring that the startups really get their due. Because you see, expecting everything from the government is asking too much. The government has already shed enough funds. Most of the time we find that the funds get returned back due to bureaucratic procedures, etc. The DAP 2026, as and when it comes up, may be able to help, but there are some doubts about it. So quick word, how can the private industry really help this problem?
Today, most of the big players, you take L&T, Bell, all are system integrators actually. Components are made by MSMEs and they are supplying it. So the big guy can take the order, he's got the money with him, in space, say satellite thing. He subcontracts it or works with these smaller startups. The smaller startups are great niche technology, they can deliver the stuff, but they will be in what, TRL 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Getting it productionized, getting it quality cleared, the bigger agencies know how to approach, kaun sa QA agency ko pakadna hai, how to do it, which lab, which NABA lab. They've got the pockets, they're able to tender it to these people. The smaller startups should be absorbed, working under the bigger players, give the technology, and the bigger players deliver the product to the armed forces. I believe this is a very good method for delivering a product fast. The niche technology comes from the smaller startups and the niche things. The bigger players take the big order and integrate all of them. Because suddenly you will discover that, we must have thought AI hona chahiye. But suddenly when you start doing, we have to integrate a lot of the other sensors. Money is required for that. The startup will say, Arey, I was only given this part to do it. The bigger guy can then pull inside, he can take up a case for this. So this model is the best idea.
Yeah, so I'll open the house for questions. We will take 3 questions. Yeah, first you. Can you have there's a mic here, I think.
Thank you, General Dushyant. I'll take on your question which you asked Colonel Mahala, because I was handling 25 of those 75 space challenges. Okay. So the problem which happened was, you talked of prototype to operational deployment. Let's come to the prototype. It's been 4 years, right? So the first fault which happened was that each thing was broken into various sub-challenges. What, like he said, in even the IDEX, bus ko ye banayega, payload kuch banayega, integration. So there we went wrong. So in MOD for 2.5 years, yesterday also said in the industry interaction, that that's why the problem happened, and that's why we are lagging so much behind, because I'm in touch with all that. So that's the reason prototype ka bhi kahin naam nishan abhi nahi hai, because I'm taking regular updates. Now my question is to Admiral Ajit. When this dev space mission challenges were launched, right? So we got from the industry, in fact, Azista Industry Brigade Bhardwaj and his team gave me a lot of inputs. So right now, as far as the dev space mission challenge is concerned, I know you're a naval guy, but Air Force is the lead arm, but I don't see an Air Force guy here. So I just want your input since you're a QA person. So which is the organization which is mandated in the MOD to, validate the space standards right now in India? And because bulk of these space challenges are with the Air Force. And do you have any idea, are these standards in place? Are we going in for the in-space standards? Is that going to be the standards on which the military dev space mission challenges will be benchmarked? Any idea? Thank you.
No, sir, I'm not be able to talk about the standards, but generally following the norms. So even if you are taking a naval system, the standard is written by naval headquarters, but the directorate which formulates the NSQRs. You quote MIL standard 461 Golf, suppose for EMIMC. Today I'm aware that in the space you got a lot of these European standards which are there. ISRO has also promulgated some sort of things. So these will be used even today if you are to, if suppose naval headquarters is told immediately issue a RFP or something. He will use what is currently available with him, sir.
And so is DGAQA qualified right now
yes,
to handle this?
There is an organization which is SSQAG, which looks after the space standards. It's a very new organization, maybe raised a year and a half back. So yeah, it is there. And the standards are either international standards, what we are following, or ISRO standards, depending on the launch vehicle and other things, either the ISRO standard or international standards. Both are good as far as space. It's part of DGQA only, however reporting to somebody else.
Yeah, there was, you want to add something to this? Yeah, so your question, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Actually, here what I like to say one thing is, we are missing a key part. Means we are saying that China and America are developing so much. Why we don't have this much of innovations or scientific advantage in our country? The thing I would like to say is that we have been underestimating science for decades. So for what Trump administration is doing for last 2 years, we have been doing it for many decades, and we are blind to see the consequences of it. So that is the reason why we are now here. What I am trying to say here is, you've been working on how to make the innovation, how to make the technology advance in our country. What I like to suggest is, let's find a common ground. here the common ground in science. So I've been to IDEX also. I've been to many things also. What the people who were before funding the startup on their innovation is, they want to prove. Because they are innovating something very new, of course they need a R&D all and all. Means they need money and everything. So instead of going into the proof, I want these defense or something to agree on the platform of science. If the science works, then it's fine. It's good to the thing. So instead of going to prove whether we don't know whether, of course there's always some window of missing of chance. But if the science agrees, put a lot of scientists in the selecting committee, okay? So that whether independent scientists are someone who knows the knowledge, subject matter experts, and let them decide whether there's a hope for this or not. Even though they say, okay, there's only 60 or 70%
Can
of
you
hope,
keep
then
your comments a little brief? We've got others also to.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, let's take the science as a platform and put more scientists into the group and give some window of leverage to see whether this innovation is going to work and how to make designs out of it. So the passionate of the people will definitely come out with some results instead of seeing the proof of working or not. So that's how the science can be innovative.
Actually, what you're trying to suggest is, a incubation process, and there the army is working with a number of agencies like IITs, etc., where people like you are joining these academic institutions, carrying out the science part which you are trying to say. The army will always look for some kind of credibility of your project fructifying in the future. You want to add it?
While that is there, that is finally we look at the end product. But at the same time, let me tell you that we are getting the technologies developed right from TRL1 onwards. And as of today, as I speak, I have 6 projects with different IITs, which General Dushyant just now mentioned, where entire 100% funding is being done by us. That is starting from TRL1. So it is not proof or anything like that. It's purely starting from science only, and worth about 45 crores. So the Indian Army, from Army Technology Board, we are funding, apart from those IDEX and all those other challenges which are getting launched. And as part of our selection committees for all these IDEX challenges also, we have 2 individuals who are from these IITs and all. Those are the scientists. Yeah, the PIs are from these IITs and all. So they are very much part of selection committee also.
Yeah, see, the problem is India is too big, Indian armed forces are too big, and the people who are getting selected are 1s, 2s, 3s. So there will be a lot of dissatisfaction in the environment. Yeah, your question. But we are trying to navigate that. Like for example, in cloth itself, I am now trying to create a Section 8 company with an incubation center. If that comes through, I mean, subject to people like Maan agreeing to what suggestion I'm giving, probably we'll be able to give more outlet to people to try out their experimentations and come up with some kind of a prototype. Yes, sir, your question.
Sir, I am Dr. Vinod Kaushik from NDMA. I am a CBRN scientist. Sir, my request to ADG Maan from ADB. Sir, I understand you must be maintaining the database of the 400 startups which are working in the space sector. If yes, very good. I request, sir, please categorize them and please do the registration process so that it will save your time when you will be going to place the order. And keep them updated from the respective startups that what new they are adding, because as this gentleman has said that innovation is always required, as you have said, the TRL1. So there is no standard order. There is nothing set before that. If you are doing something new, you have to go to TRL1 to 7 or 8 and then you will standardize. So I request, sir, if database is there, very good. If it is not there, please maintain it. So all these startups will be benefited.
Thank you, sir. We do have the database, but not of all the startups dealing with all those who have approached us. But I would also like to apprise that we are shortly launching a separate website of ADB, rather it's an application where this registration process will take place. And we are seeking the inputs on the TRL levels of your products also. So it will get automatically categorized, what you are suggesting.
Sir,
thanks for the suggestion.
Sir, to answer
And
his
Anil,
query.
you want to add something to him?
Yes, I want to add. Yesterday only, sir, we have launched e-catalog for Indian space capability metrics. So it is open for all the people where the procurement agency look at it, one go, one stop. They will click those, they will get the domain, they will get 120 subdomain, their space heritage, number of workers, location of the company, it is all there. It's catalog yesterday launched by Chairman in Space. So it is available, sir, and we will make it available to all the procurement agencies, all the people who wanted to invest, or you wanted to, for looking for collaboration. So it's a one-stop shop, sir. So that is way already created. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think we are totally out of time, and I've got my indications from the computer that I can't go any further. That leaves me to thank all of you and also thank the panel which in this short time tried to give you as much as it could. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request, please, every esteemed speakers to please raise for a picture. Thank you so much, sir, for keeping it concise and to the point. Thank you. Much appreciated.